Welcome to Behind the Scenes at ID8 Studios, the place where we explore the art of producing art. I'm Steve Sue, and this is Crystal Lockie with me, and our very good friend and guest, Nainoa Andrade. How's it, buddy?
How's it going?
Good, man. So you're going to talk to us today about how to film a concert.
Yeah, so there's a lot of steps that go into it as far as figuring out stuff beforehand and making stuff up on the spot. There's certain things that I usually look for, and just keeping that visual artistic eye out when you're at events.
Okay, so I'm assuming a concert is a staged event.
Yes.
People in the audience can't get on the stage, they can't get in the pit, they can't do a lot of things. How do you acquire access to get to where you need to be? Because obviously you want to have those angles that make it awesome.
Yeah, so the first thing I would do is, in order to film at events, you usually have to talk to there's an artist that's playing there, and that's how you should get in, or you're filming for the entire event themselves. So let's take Hawaii as example, right? So let's say there's a concert at the Blaisdell Arena. So it's either the only way you can get a media pass is either you're shooting directly for the artist that's there, or you're shooting for the venue themselves. Or there's a third option where it's like you're shooting for the company that's promoting the event, which is like some other smaller ones here. So those are three ways usually you can get in.
I thought you were going to say there's a third way. That's like you Bogart your way in somehow.
Oh, no. I was like, you can sneak your camera
you
stuff
something
in.
Slinky and you like, yo, what's
I mean,
up,
you
buddy?
can, but like if you do and security catches you, that is all your money gone. Like they will not give it back.
Oh, really? Don't do
it's-
that anymore, Crystal. Stop
I
it.
will do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they do allow some cameras, but not professional cameras. I'll
Yeah.
say that. But like point and shoots, GoPros and stuff like that's totally fine. Just not, just cinema rigs that you're trying to walk in with. Don't do that.
So how big a difference is it from your rig to somebody with an iPhone or even a GoPro?
My rig usually consists of a camera body, a cage around it. I usually carry my 3 lenses, so I have everything from a 14 millimeter to a 200 millimeter, and a camera bag with holds whatever stuff that I have, and a glide cam. So my stuff is pretty run and gun. It's really, really simple. People can bring iPhones. It's fine. I mean, like I have more control of the quality that comes out of my camera, and it has that DSLR quality. iPhones, everything's automatic. You can't really change anything. It's good for like just quick stuff on social media, but if you want like a proper, really good high resolution video, you want a professional camera when you're going in. And usually the only way to get that in is, like I said before, artists, the event, or the people that are hosting the event. That's the only way you can bring in any kind of professional media equipment.
All right. So lighting's got to be a big deal, right? Because sometimes it's really dark, sometimes it's really bright. How do you deal with all those lighting conditions?
It's crazy because sometimes it'll just go completely black, and then my camera just can't autofocus, and then they just turn on every single light, and it's my shot's overexposed. It sucks. So a lot of the times I'm relying on the lighting technician or whatever gaffer they have on set to provide really good lighting, because I can only do so much. I have no idea what they're doing in the back when they're switches and whatnot. So again, how I go about it is I just try to set my camera up as best I can. If I look out for consistent lighting, so I know that like these lasers up here are going up and down, or these spotlights are going to be here always, and they're always on at certain times in the music. I will try and remember that within the first 5-10 minutes of the artist playing, and then after that it's just like, okay, I'm just looking for consistency. What are they always having? What are they always taking away? And then I work from there.
So then how do you do with like different sets? Like for example, if an artist has 15 dancers, then you kind of need to back up or change your lens or something to capture that grandeur.
Yeah, so I just got this really cool piece of equipment. It's called the Tri-Lens Holder, and it's basically like it's a lens holder that swivels on a mount that's attached to my hip on my belt. I can attach 3 lenses on it all the time. So
you're like a gunslinger.
Basically, yeah. So, because what I did before is I had all my lenses in a bag, and I was on the side of the stage, and every single time I wanted to change lenses, I have to like go to it, like change it, and then run all the way back. But like it's on my hip constantly, so I can constantly swap out whatever focal length that I need, and then I go from there.
And you feel like a badass when you have that thing on.
Honestly, no, it's really sick. Not a lot of people have it, and I showed it to a couple of friends at this last event I shot in LA, and everyone's like, "Where'd you get it? How much is it? Like, I want one right now."
Yeah, they're like stand back professionals coming true.
Oh yeah, no, it's bulky for sure, but it's a time saver, and like if again, like film industry, right? It's like time is money. Like if I can shave down 15 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute changing out a lens, that is money for me. I can stay in the exact same spot and I will not miss a shot.
That's cool.
So what do you do? What first thing that you do when you get your stuff prepared, your equipment? Do you stand and look at what's going on first, and then figure out where you're gonna stand? Like
Yeah. So the first thing I do is like I get my credentials. Like I need to get whatever pass that I have, and that's usually at like the front of house people. They give like all the wristbands and whatnot. Usually I go to them saying, hey, I'm working with this artist. I have my COI. Sometimes you need insurance for bigger events, but if it's smaller, you don't. But I present that. They give me my wristbands and give me all access, my AA passes. And I'll stand and look at the venue for like a good like minute or so, just like looking at where everything is, like where are the DJ decks, how is the lighting, where's the crowd, where do I have access to start walking? Because that's the biggest thing. Like I can be in the middle of the crowd, but it's going to be a pain to get in the middle, get a shot, and then walk all the way back out. Like I want ease of use. So I'm looking where all the pits are, where like we call it the rail. The rail is what keeps kind of everyone at bay from the very front. So where that is, how big is the stage? Where do I like? How is it from getting from backstage to the front of the stage, like on the floor? And I probably take all of that in within the first like 1 to 2 minutes that I'm there. And after that, I have a game plan. I'm like, I want these shots. I want these shots. This lens at this location. This lens at this location. And I just kind of MacGyver as I go along. I see whatever's good, and yeah, just go from there. It's
Do
all
you know
about.
who MacGyver is, Crystal?
do I know who?
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you know who MacGyver is? That was a TV
I-
show.
I
Yeah,
wanna-
no, yeah,
Long
it is,
time
I
ago.
almost got mixed up with McLovin.
McLovin. I just McLovined it. I just faked it till I made it. No, so I mean, my parents are like I watched TV Land when I was growing up. So
Yeah.
that was all like Gilligan's Island, all those
Yeah.
guys. And then my parents they would recommend that show as well, and they would always say that. So I kind of picked up on it. And whenever I say it and people understand it, they're like, "Oh, he knows what MacGyver is."
Like TV history.
Yeah.
Way back.
Okay.
Before
we were
before there
born,
was Crystal.
for sure.
Before
Yeah.
there was Crystal. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
You gotta
basi-
learn it. They
it's-
use it a lot in the industry.
I've heard it. I've heard that word been used.
Yeah,
a couple
it's
times.
basically just like you make it the best you
Resourceful.
go. Yeah, just
Very
you use what
resourceful.
you got.
Yeah.
yeah. You're learning all these new words on this
I'm
show.
learning so many new
Yeah,
things.
this is
today.
so good.
And
for
you're
you.
learning stuff too.
Me too. Me too.
Nice. But yeah, so that's basically how I handle like any kind of pre-production stuff before I start
Uh-huh.
shooting. And then I asked my artist, hey, is there any particular shots that you want? Is there any particular shots that you don't want? Because a lot of the times they're like, oh, I don't want
that's
this.
smart.
So I'm like, okay, so I know not to get that kind of shot.
Yeah.
And if they're like, oh, I really want this shot, then you can kind of go off of like, okay, I know what this guy likes. Let me get something similar like that. And then you work your...
Because you have to make them look good, and if you make them look good, then you're gonna get more gigs, right?
Exactly, yeah. Like it's... Yeah.
Do not show the right profile or the left profile.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
basically.
he covers it the right side every time.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that have like masks on, and they need it's like battery powered, so
Yeah.
the battery's like in the back of their head, so they're just like, don't get the back of my head. I'm like, cool, I know not to get that. Someone's like, oh, I don't like when like the shots are like low angle and you're looking up at me because I look fat. I'm like, okay, cool, don't get low angle shots, get high angle
Smart.
or eye level shots, and go
That's
from
cool.
there. Yeah, just use common sense. It's
Yeah.
not the most
Be
difficult thing in the world.
courteous to
Yeah.
your subject.
Yeah, exactly, because like they're human beings too. It's like they have things they
Yeah.
like and things.
Well, plus
they,
it's their career too. They're specifically trying to create a certain image.
Yeah, and don't deliver bad content, no matter what it
Yeah.
is. It's like I don't care if you're only delivering 2 videos to them. It's like you just deliver the best.
So what's your technique in shooting the crowd? Like, what's your go-to checklist?
My go-to checklist is I will like kind of like where the rail is in the front. That's usually where I get a lot of like my crowd shots because everyone's like their face is right there. And I usually just kind of vibe with them. Like I kind of bounce to the music, or if there's anything going on, I try to match their energy to let them know that's like, yeah, I'm shooting the event, but like I'm also like a part of this community. Like if I wasn't shooting, I would be in the crowd too, kind of thing. So I think that's in my mentality. I'm like, if I can communicate that to them, it's always like the nicest shots. People are just they're less tense around me. They're just like, oh, like it's a big camera, but now they're just like, oh, it's a friend basically. I just
Yeah.
want to have a camera, and that always gets out the greatest. I've met so many incredible people on that lineup, like in the front. Even at EDC was probably the biggest because everyone was just so loving, and I've gotten like so many connections just from that. Like I've made connections with people in California and all over the world. It's insane. I love it. So that's what I usually do. Getting stuff from the crowd is I make sure that I'm matching the energy and I get my shots there. Usually like wide angles, but that, and I use any kind of techniques in order to showcase how big the crowd is in video form. So sometimes I'll have like a camera on a glide cam and I'm like running, like I'm holding it all the way up here so I can see over the crowd, so you can see the sea of people. Or sometimes I get like a tight shot because I want to focus on this one person because they're like mouthing the lyrics of the song and I want to capture that in slow motion or something.
That's cool.
Yeah. So again, it's all on like your artistic eye and what is the story that you are trying to convey to your audience? Like what kind of emotions are you trying to draw in? And that goes on camera techniques and so on and so forth.
You used the word energy like a minute ago, and pretty much every filmmaker comes in here, they talk about capturing the energy, and it's such a good like acid test. Did you capture the real energy or not? So how do you know when you captured the real energy?
When I feel emotion from it, like when if I can look back on those shots, or if I can be in the moment and understand what's going on, I feel like that is when you've caught that magic energy where it's like you're able to capture emotion in such a way where it can impact people. And there's times where it's like I'll look back at my videos and I'll cry. You know, I'll get emotional from it. And if I'm feeling emotional from this, I guarantee there's someone out there that's feeling the exact same way. And that's when I know, like, as an artist, I have done my job. Even if I've just impacted one person, it's like that is all I can ever ask for from making the stuff that I make.
That's a really cool sentiment, because I know we experience that as well, right? There's times where if you're on an edit and there's this one part where you always cry, and you know exactly what's going to happen on tape, but you still, even though you know it's coming, it hits you, just engulfs you. That's the best.
I was actually just watching my videos earlier today because someone else liked it, and I was like, wow, I haven't looked at this video in a really long time. It's this part in my EDC recap for 2022. It's towards the end, but like this girl's like she has her hand like this and she's like mouthing out words, and every single time I see that shot, I cry because for me it's such a powerful moment where someone is just so engulfed in this feeling and there's no care. They're just like, I'm free. I can do what I want, and everyone around me accepts me, and I can just be me. And when I caught that, the lighting was perfect, and like she was so in focus. And I just remember looking at that for the first time when I was editing, and I just sat there and cried. It was so freaking beautiful, and I was like, "This is why I'm here. This is why I'm in it." Like these are the moments that make everything so worthwhile.
How often does lightning strike in a concert?
Lightning, like thunder and lightning?
Okay.
I was going to be like,
because I've always said, like, in photography, you wait for lightning to strike, but it's very rare.
It is. It's one of those things. It's right place, right time, and it's.
So how often do you get one of those?
Not as often as you think. Sometimes I kind of have to like fake it in the editing process, but I've been fortunate enough to be in a lot of situations where I am very, very lucky, and it's a perfect shot, perfect lighting, perfect composition, perfect energy, where everything is just, it's like it lives in harmony. And there's times where it does not work.
Yeah.
And that's just the name of the game. That's what you kind of have to live with sometimes.
Well, the medium you chose to cover, it's very soulful to begin. It's like completely bearing your soul. It's completely emotional. So.
Yeah, so the kind of music I like is melodic dubstep. So a lot of the artists are like Elenium, Set the Sky, Dabin, Seven Lions, William Black. They're all like, it's very emotional music, and it makes you feel very connected. And when everyone is chanting like those lyrics together, where it's like I feel what you're feeling on a very sentimental level. And when you're able to be that vulnerable, it's something so different from listening to other types of music like rock, indie, reggae, whatever it is. I don't know. I personally connect with that a lot, and I connect with the people there, and it's really, really beautiful music. And from beautiful music brings a beautiful crowd, and from a beautiful crowd brings beautiful shots, and from beautiful shots I bring a beautiful video. And so again,
And then
everything-
MacGyver comes in.
and then MacGyver comes in because it's like, damn, like I need to get this shot rolling because I did not frame it right. Like her head's all the way down and I have all this empty space. Like I need yeah. You know what I mean?
So, Crystal, do you want to go shoot a
Concerts?
concert?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fun. It's so
Because
fun.
now we
It
know
sounds
how.
so much fun. Yeah.
Now
Like,
we
I
know
mean-
how, thanks to you, Nainoa. So we're gonna wrap this because I know you're gonna launch off to another whole nother podcast, and we're gonna capture that
Yes.
soon.
Yes.
But thank you for showing us how to film a concert.
Mhm.
You're very
You're the
welcome.
king, and I'm excited to see your work soon.
Thank you.
So how do they find you?
You guys can find me on social media at Nainoa Andrade or naphotographyandfilm.com. That's where I post all of my stuff. Keep me updated. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to DM me, email me, whatever it is, and I'll be happy to help you guys out.
And for more on this show, check out id8studios.org.